Let me bang. I do let you bang. Hey, let me bang you, James, man. I let you bang. I let you bang. Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
What's up, people? Welcome to the Brandon MMA Roasted Podcast. I started right when Greg gets here because half the time the funny stuff is in our first like 3 minutes. It's all funny. But like we have like these bombshell conversations, and all of a sudden we start. We're like, welcome to the podcast. So it's like, but it's good to be here, man.
Don't want to miss any of the good stuff.
Of course. How are you feeling?
I feel good. Feel all right. I'm coming around.
You lost some weight.
Yeah, listen, that's what I'm trying to do, as part of, the whole process.
How are you doing now?
What do you mean?
Like, how are you losing the weight?
Oh, well, listen, I had to change my diet. I stopped drinking. So I thought you were more like a hard liquor guy. I am a hard liquor guy.
But like how many? But like I always feel like beer guys are the guys that gain the most weight.
Yeah, they do. That's true. I probably would have gained more, but I was drinking hard liquor like most nights of the week, probably. So now it's once to twice a week. I have 1 or 2 drinks a week, so it's greatly reduced at current. So that's a big part. Of course, I've been trying to exercise, and I go for a walk every day and stuff like that. So I mean, that was the thing is that it's such a simple equation, really. You just got to burn more than you take in. I mean, that's really all it is. And when you take in, an extra 5,000 to 10,000 calories a week in alcohol, it's hard to outrun that. There's an old adage, you can't outwork a bad diet. And that's really just the cycle that I was on in terms of, I would exercise, I would do cardio, I would, go to the gym and do stuff. But the amount of calories I was consuming with my bad diet and all the drinking, I couldn't make any headway. So you clean those two things up, it makes it a little easier. That's for sure.
I still have that problem where I'll work out and then I'll reward myself by eating
exactly. And then absolutely, you're like, I earned it. It's in my whole bit in my special about, it's like I in my mind I would be earning fast food credits.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's it. I'm going to Popeyes after this. I worked out, and that was just, and then on the days I wouldn't work out, I'm like, well, I'm gonna, it's like, listen, I'm going to work out tomorrow, so I'm going to get some Popeyes today. So it was, so it was always just a cycle of consuming way more than I was ever burning.
I would do that with looking at my wife right now. I would do that with girls too. Like if I would break up with the girl and then I would just go nuts. Like way worse than if I was single for a while.
Absolutely.
Couldn't just do one. I have to find 100%. But I'm happy that you're. Hey, what's going? You go upstairs? Yeah. No, I'll sit here. I just don't want to talk and have you over there. Hearing you? Yes. Listen. Okay. I don't want to sit there. I want to sit here. I just don't want to have you right there.
Okay, I will leave the premises, but why would you want to sit there when this is such a better
I like it better here. I feel like it travels up there, my voice. And then I gotta look up and look see your face of disapproval.
I could just listen to your podcast and know.
I know. It's true. We're actually doing the podcast. This is live. So cool. All right. I love you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here we are. All right. Let's. Okay.
It's so funny. It's like, does she want to hear the podcast? I mean, I feel like she wants to hear it and doesn't want to hear it at the same time. It's like doing this for you, babe. I'm doing this out of love.
The funny part is when I'm on the road, she listens to it. Sometimes I get to hear my voice, whatever, and I'm like, "What part did you get up to?"
Yeah, do you want the whole thing, or
Oh God! So now I can't.
By the way, I saw the picture you posted from when you were, I guess, on that last cruise, and you had like a little 6-pack going and everything. I was like, how is it your face is getting older, but your body's getting younger?
Because like you can't work out your face, man.
No shit. It looked like somebody photoshopped your head onto some other dude's body. That's what it looked like.
Somebody actually told me that. They're like, you're aging terribly. Someone's like, aging terribly. I'm like, first of all, it was like old headshot day, which is a fucking trap. They had these little traps where you posted all the headshot, and I posted the one when I was like 19 years old. And of course, I felt like I was in 98 degrees or something. And
I saw it and I was like, well, there's the boy bander of comedy that I remember.
And then all these people were like, oh, like, oh, save some pussy for the rest of us. Or just some, funny thing. But then, of course, one guy goes, you're aging terribly. And that like bothered me. I was like, fuck that. I went and like ran 7 miles that night. Like, fuck you. I literally
it doesn't de-age your face doing that. I mean, one of the things also is parenting, it not just you, all people, it ages everybody.
I'm 44 years old. That picture was 18.
Yeah.
It was 26 years ago. I mean, literally, I like to see these people fucking in 26 years from now, see how good they look. So then I actually DM'd the guy. I was like, man.
Jesus Christ. Why would you? Cheers.
This is why I could never be Brendan Schaub. We'll talk about that for a second. But I went on that guy's pictures, and he had all the pictures of him and his wife and his kids. And of course, I want to insult him, but I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be that. I'm not going to insult his wife or his kid. I was like, why would you say that?
There's a cat.
So then, and he goes, oh, I was just in Australia. We bust balls. I was joking. Since all your comedy's all. I was like, there was no joke there. It's telling someone they're aging terribly is not a fucking joke. And that like, it got me. And now, of course, I'm sure everyone's going to fucking put on Instagram or YouTube that I'm aging terribly because they know that fucking annoyed me. But man, I was like,
mentioning it on the podcast, that definitely isn't going to help the situation.
Don, are you fighting with your dog again right now?
No, I'm not fighting with my dog.
Are you wrestling?
First of all, he fights with everyone but his dog.
I mean, you wrestling with the dog? Are you playing with the dog?
No.
Oh, okay.
Been doing man things. So.
What are these man things?
Yeah, I want to know what the man things are.
Well, I could tell you, but you wouldn't understand it. This would be a waste of my time.
Sure, a waste of your time, but it'd be very edifying for the rest of us.
Well, because if Don Frye is doing man things, it must be like the manliest thing.
Oh my God, yes.
Like this dude pisses. He like pisses and like fire comes out. Like he doesn't even.
I was gonna say there's got to be barbed wire, leather, some kind of a bow knife, something. There's got to be something very manly going on there. I would love to know.
So Don, what kind of
napalm? Napalm. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. So I take a piss.
Yeah, that's what he uses to trim his pubes. Fucking napalm.
So funny, dude.
I gargle with that stuff.
You want to sound like Don Frye, you got to gargle with napalm.
So anyway, I was on the cruise ship. I was doing comedy, and first of all, I had to, I got to do like 1 hour of clean jokes, right? 2 30-minute sets. You don't have to only do 30 minutes, but the same crowd comes back.
Right.
And I do 3 different 30-minute dirty shows. So I do, 2.5 hours of jokes, right? So what's it called again? I'm on my second clean show and it's going well, but the boat is rocking. I mean, literally it's like,
I hate that shit.
It was just one of those things. It was constantly. And right when I'm like 10 minutes in, they start drilling right below me. So you hear like during my set, like for 15 fucking minutes, right? I'm like, is there a bomb going off? Like we have a fucking firework display. Now people are dying at this. People are bowled over. People are running for their lives out of the. They don't know if we're under attack. I think we're docking.
And you're still telling jokes. You're trying to get to the punchline, right?
I'm trying to get to the punchline, but at this point, you can't even hear me. I'm having to fight with the drilling. Right over me.
Listen, no one can ever say you're not a pro. I mean, anybody that doesn't, like the place is evacuated and you're like, I am contractually obligated to finish this 30 minutes.
I got to post this.
I want to get this damn joke done.
I go, literally, I'm like, they're actually going to open up a circle and there's going to be sharks. And I'm going to be telling jokes to the sharks. It was 10 minutes of fucking drilling. I'm like, and it kept getting louder.
Will they have laser beams on their head?
I don't know what they were drilling. It was fucking beyond frustrating.
I love it. You're going to die on one of these boats. You're going to get to heaven and be like, well, how did you die? I wanted to finish this joke.
Dude, little kids were dying. The kids were dying. Kids were dying laughing. They were like, people were like, that was the funniest part of the show, blah, blah, blah. But it was 15 minutes of drilling, having to fight with the drill.
They couldn't hear you. That was the funniest part.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. I appreciate it.
They were so great the way we couldn't hear you.
Dude, and like not only that, but like, dude, I got to the thing, right? And I like missed the film festival because I couldn't get out of it, right? So I like I was like, my movie that I sold was like playing at the Chinese theater. So I like flew to San Francisco. No one's there to pick me up. So I'm like walking around. Where's the cruise? So I call my agent. He's like, just take a taxi. I'm like, where, to the ocean? Like, where are we leaving? From.
Yeah.
I take a taxi and the guy's like, oh, the guy drops me off at Pier 1. He's like, oh, it's only a block walk. I'm like, it was at Pier 27 we left out of.
Oh,
right?
shit.
So I had to walk 27 piers with luggage, right? Then I get there and it's freezing. I mean, like 3 hours, it's freezing. And they're like, oh, we're not letting anyone on the ship for 2 hours.
You look like a homeless person, so nobody bothers you, right?
2 hours of freezing. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It was one of those things. Like, and then finally I like got on and they're like, oh, no, you gotta take a COVID test. So they take a COVID, this lady starts yelling at me, COVID test over there. I go take it. She goes, keep your luggage there. I get out, my luggage is gone. And I'm like, where's my luggage? She's like, stop yelling at me. I'll find it. I'm like, you told me to go over there. So now I'm fighting with it. It was just one of those days where I'm like, oh God, like what, how many wrong turns did I make to get here? But it was, the shows were good. And then last night I did the improv.
Wait. You're leaving us suspended here, man. What happened to your luggage?
Oh, I found my luggage. And then last night I like came in, I like flew in from San Francisco, picked up my kid at school. I tried to take a nap, but she jumped on my head the whole time, waking me up. And then I ended up doing the improv last night on the Netflix as a jokes festival with D-Ray. Murdered it. Like a huge agent from one of the top 3 came up to me and was like, go call me. I want to see more stuff. So it was all good. We'll see if that, I don't want to get too excited before something happens, but
yeah. Well, at least you mentioned it on the podcast. That definitely can't jinx it. You know what's funny too? It's so funny the way everything's. This next 2 weeks is Netflix is a joke festival here, and it's funny because like I see the lineups from the Laugh Factory, and they're like Netflix is a joke comedy all stars, and I'm like, the Netflix comedy all stars look strangely exactly like the Laugh Factory's all stars that they have every single week.
I want to put I'm doing the Diamond Night. I almost want to get a sign saying like Quibi is a joke. And like, yeah. Or like one of those, like,
you just say Quibi is dead serious.
Yeah. I'm like very, very McCorkle. How are you doing?
Doing all right, man. I'm still trying to recover. It was a rough weekend for me, man. I started out watching Brendan Schaub's special on YouTube.
Boom, there it is. No breaks. And, right at it.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, man. I've felt nauseous since watching it. It's been rough. It's been a rough few days. But he did have a great joke. One of the best jokes I've ever heard in my life on there. I got to give him credit for it. He said his wife, who he says is Mexican, but she looks Asian, but he says she's Mexican, said she cooked Mexican cookies for him one night. And somebody said, what's that? And he said, it's a chocolate chip with salsa on it, which I thought was some groundbreaking shit. Like that is, that's funny. But that was like his tagline, like his high point of the special. So,
well, remember, he's never bombed. So that's how you know.
Never once.
That's how you know.
I mean,
it's all about preparation.
I did not see the special. I'm not going to go see the special, but I got to say, man, like one person tells me one thing and I get annoyed. I don't know how Brendan Schaub deals with like, there's an army of people just shitting on this fucking special. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Number one, 60,000 people on the Reddit page. They're calling the homeless cats. 60,000 people whose lives are devoted to like destroying Schaub. It's awesome.
But I mean, they're also watching it, so they're giving him,
right.
But it's sort of like the Kardashian factor. People watch it because they hate it, or half of them watch it because they like it or something. But like, But yeah, there was a thread on the underground. I started reading the thread. So it like somebody went on IMDb, right? And
Right.
and look, I did not do this. I didn't watch special. I never wrote one bad thing about Brendan Schaub. In fact, I said I give him credit because I don't know how he's able to kind of sustain this. Like just saying fuck it. I don't care. So I thought IMDb you have to actually, it's like a serious website, right? So
Right.
I guess it's not, because they literally put like Brendan Schaub special. They put who's in it, right? They put I'm gonna see if I can share the page so you guys.
They always put it. They reclassified under a category of horror, like usually when he releases a special, they put it under the horror. So I think it's like Wikipedia, like users can edit it and then they go back and correct it if it's not right. So
Greg, look at this. All right, so they put top cast. Ariel Helwani was in it as How Did Comedy Go? Joe Rogan is Daddy Toe. Travis Brown.
What the hell?
Annie Letterman, like Carlos Mencia as Inspiration. Like,
oh my God. Shrimp as Shrimp?
like Theo
Vaughn as Coke Friend?
The guy from Bloodsport, Bolo Young. Like, how did he get in here? Like this,
the hell?
And then they put like under trivia, they put Brendan Schaub turned down offers from all the big production companies, Netflix, HBO, and bettered himself. You can see a drastic drop in quality due to this decision, right? And then he goes,
I gotta tell you, whoever wrote that guy's a comedian.
Dude, that's not even like literally like, so it got 1 star out of 10, the whole thing. But it says like, he knows his jokes aren't funny. He doesn't work on them. He's a comedian because he wants respect from his friends. His YouTube video has a view to like is 2 to 1, very sus. Someone wrote like weird YouTube video, unfortunate stuff. Who would post YouTube video of them saying mean things about their spouse? I was hoping to be better. The laugh track is a nice touch. Someone said, hold my beer. Instead of someone said special. So 20 minutes at open mic night and posting on YouTube because it's special. 20 minutes of not so subtle racism, mostly aimed at his wife. He hates. This is by margin his first, not one laugh. Even worse than his last special. Even less funny than other Rogan parasites. Terrible, redacted, kind of racist, worst comedian. I mean, I can't talk. Why? Incredible feat. He managed to be special worse than, I mean, it just keeps going. Literally, bottom of the barrel, not a comment. I mean, like, what the fuck?
Well, first of all, what's it called? The something Poppy? What is it? Gringo Poppy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel, okay, remember that episode of Seinfeld where his dentist becomes Jewish just for the Jew jokes?
Right. Yeah.
That's what I feel like. Like he just married a Latina so he could go around making Mexican jokes, like.
Oh my God.
This is.
You know what's crazy in that special? Like every comedian like exaggerates or can make up a story. He blatantly lies about things that don't matter. Like he said his wife was born in Guadalajara and they've got a compilation video of his lies on YouTube where it shows his wife talked about being born in Hollywood, California. And he's like, I've never, in a special, he's never owned a gun, never shot a gun, never anything. Then they flashed him at a gun range on a YouTube video 3 years ago shooting guns. Like he just blatantly lies about things that make no sense. It doesn't add to the comedy or anything. He just lies.
Well, that's what happens when you learn stand-up from Chris D'Elia. I mean,
right. Yeah, when your whole life is a lie.
I only say that because Chris D'Elia, notoriously would tell other people's stories, like straight up tell someone else's life story. He did it to Vincent O'Shaughnesy. So I mean, that's the company you keep, I guess.
Somebody wrote, I could do better. I don't find myself funny at all.
Right there, he did better.
But but listen, I mean, look, man, I didn't watch it, and I'm not shitting on Chow, but like, I give him credit because, like, holy fuck, like, I mean, Greg, would you be able to take this kind of abuse? You probably would, right?
I think you just kind of just don't pay attention to it. I mean, you're putting your work out there, you're doing your thing. You can't let this stuff. Not everybody's like you, Adam, where they feel the need to one by one address every single negative comment that they come across. Don't get me wrong. I think he feels it. I think he sees it. I mean, I don't think you're human. You do that. Those things happen. But at a certain point, I think you have to kind of just tune it out, There's
no point. There's really no point to ask Greg that because Greg could never be that unfunny, even if he really, really tried. So like, if he was trying to be that unfunny, I don't think he could.
I give him credit. I give him credit, man. I give him credit. I give Askren credit when he got knocked out. But Askren actually is like a super good fighter. Like he's actually like an amazing fighter. I mean,
wrestler.
You good wrestler. Well, he was still a good fighter too. I mean, he beat a lot of good guys.
Yeah, really? I think the Jake Paul took him down a few notches in the great fighter category.
Right. I think Don Frye, man, you were kind of lucky in a way. Not you, because no one would ever say shit about you. There was no social media back then, right? You think it was easier to not deal with social media than it would be now?
Yeah, it was a lot easier. It just started at that time, and I would read it and I was like, what the fuck, these idiots. Like one guy, he said, what a stupid, I had that mouthpiece, black and red, blue. And he said, what a stupid mouthpiece this guy has. And what's wrong with him? And I'm like, that's it? That's your complaint? And then, now everybody in the world has a fucking colored mouthpiece,
Right.
I was just glad I was glad Don didn't see the stuff written on cave walls about him back when he was fighting, because it was brutal. Some of it, man. They found some stuff in Egypt and the pyramids that were just trashing him.
No, dude, I'm like that. Somebody was like, I saw you did the same material on your special that you did when I saw you. And first of all, yeah, because not everyone saw me, number one. But I go, number two, I wrote the guy DM. I go, here are 3 albums I put on iTunes, whatever, or on Spotify, all different special, 3 different hours. Then I have another, and then the last UFC conference, another one, and I have another one coming out. But like, I justify that shit. But like, I have to get to a point like these two guys, so they don't give a fuck. I mean, but like Paul Acosta was the only fighter to realize. He actually said, when I heard Schaub's special, I was so happy I don't know English. Dude,
I tell you what, for not being very funny, it certainly generated a lot of good comedy.
Yeah.
I think that's also the problem too.
Fuel him.
Yeah.
Fuel. I think that's also the problem.
That should be his whole next special, is just reading all the comments about his second special.
No, but that's the thing, like with you, McCorkle, man, like you are genuinely one of the funniest people I've ever met. Same with you, Frye. But like your writings is insane, McCorkle. I mean, you know how to write a joke better than, I would say, 95% of most comedians, 90, maybe even 98%. But you don't do it.
Right.
You just hate being up there, right?
Yeah. I don't know. My son keeps talking about wanting to do stand-up. Like he keeps saying he thinks that like he loves being on stage. Like I think he did like a open mic without telling me, but he keeps saying, I tell him I'll write him a killer. He wants to get up and do it and try it, because he's the opposite. He doesn't mind being on stage, but he doesn't want to write jokes, like he doesn't feel comfortable writing them. I was like, dude, I don't know. I would rather write for people than do it myself, because I don't find myself funny on stage. Like I think some of the stuff I write is funny, but as far as like, I don't think presenting it, I'd be that good. So. Well,
a lot of comics, I mean, that's the difference between like, you see comics like a guy like Todd Barry, who's like a great writer, but like not great stage presence. I mean, I don't think, but he doesn't necessarily murder when you're in the room, but you watch him on TV, you're like, holy shit, that's one of the funniest persons I've ever seen. Probably Hedberg in that same category too. But then you see guys that like, they're just great performers, but they're writing like a guy like Carlos Mencia, a great performer. The writing itself wasn't great. But he would murder because of his performance. When you get guys,
depending on who he was stealing his material from too. If he was stealing from the right guy, it could have been great. But
what's crazy about him, man, is I used to open up for Mencia, and he would do 4 hours of jokes, literally 4 hours of material.
Yeah.
And kill for 4 hours. I mean, fucking crush. And then, but he probably, like, let's say he steal like an hour of that. Let's say that allegedly he didn't need to steal the other 3 fucking hours. Like he could have just done 3 hours of his material and walked away. I don't know why he had the need to take it, right, Greg?
Well, I don't think he stole as much as everybody seems to think he stole. I mean, and that's the thing. He does do hours and hours and hours of material. So it's like, you didn't steal all of it. So, yeah. I mean, I personally think that he got much more of a bum rap than he deserved in terms of all that. Because again, the big joke that everyone goes back to is a joke that really anybody could have written. And that joke, and the worst part about that joke is that it wasn't in line with his style at all. He's not a short form joke writer.
It was the Cosby though. If you look at Mencia Cosby, he literally did a Cosby bit that was like an 8-minute bit, and it was like verbatim. Like,
Yeah.
Did it involve drugging and raping women? Because that's the 8-minute bit I'm familiar with.
That was a 42-year bit.
it was like
Oh,
beat by
okay.
beat.
That's
Like
all
he
right.
did it beat by beat by beat.
Did he really? That one I'm not aware of. I really was just aware of the whole, who's going to build that wall joke.
No,
that
the
everybody lost their
Cosby one, you
minds
were
over.
like, dude, you took from Cosby, and it was like a signature bit. That was the one where you were like, all right.
And that's the only thing. My only knock on him is that, when he does perform, it's for hours. And it's just like, dude, can you just do like 30 minutes and get off?
No, dude, I used to have to sell T-shirts for him at the end, right? His shirts, and I would go up there after 4 hours. So the show would start at 10. It'd be 2:00 in the morning, and then he'd make me read the jokes from the T-shirt. So I would bomb on his T-shirt joke. It wasn't like a fucking. It was a long ass joke. It was like if you're coming here from America, it was like a 3-minute thing I'm reading. I'm like, dude, come on.
How big is that T-shirt?
Yeah, it comes on 2 tablets.
All right. So did you guys watch the fights on Saturday?
Yes.
Nope.
No. Don?
Hell, nope. Missed it this week. Broke
right,
my heart too.
I'll give you guys a little update on it. So Marlon Vera beat Rob Font. Great fight. Great fight.
Great fight from Marlon Vera. Poor Rob Font still icing his face somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, Font came on really strong in the beginning, but Vera's one of those dudes who doesn't necessarily win the first round, but then figures out how to beat you throughout. And then at the end, he was like just beating the shit out of this dude and having fun, like dancing a little bit, like showboating, playing. But man, it was funny because somebody tweeted that the referee, Jason Herzog, must have money on Font. And he retweeted, "Not true. I have no money." Like the ref.
Yeah. Font was the favorite going into it, and honestly, that was the only fight that I felt like I knew enough about to want to bet on it. And I wanted to bet on Cheeto, but I was just like, they were so close. I was like, I'm just going to stay away from the whole card. And then that first round, Font looked so good. I was like, oh, thank God I didn't bet on this. But then Cheeto but here's the thing though, as bad as Rob Font's face looked.
Greg, hold on. Don, what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm just sitting here listening to Greg tell a story till you jumped his ass.
No, I hear a dog. Is there a dog in the room?
Yes, my dog. My dog goes everywhere with me.
But is he wrestling? He's panting. He's like, he's breathing. But I love your dog and I love you. I'm just saying, I'm trying to hear Greg. I don't want to mute you because I feel like that's disrespecting to you, Don. And I love having you on the show. But there is a dog sound. Can anyone else hear the dog
Yes,
sound?
I will back away from my dog. Yes, I will back away.
As part
we
of
were
the
sharing the
divorce
same pair of pants, so it was a little tight.
Got it. He's like, I feel like a fucking
I feel like, here's what I feel like. I feel like Don has the phone here and the dog right here. And he's just like, just.
Here's the reality show or the movie. Don goes back to school, but he's got to do every single year, like in Billy Madison, but like with Don Frye. Because I feel like the teacher's scolding him. Like I can picture him in like class with a bunch of 4-year-olds playing with a fucking dog, and all the kids like, "Hey kids, get over here!" And Don's like, "What's my dog?" Like, tell me you wouldn't want Don beating up bullies. Come on, that would be a great show.
That'd be awesome.
Yes. Or Don.
Man, you guys are rough.
Don, the best part would be when Don hooks up with the teacher. That'd be the best.
Of course.
Yeah, that would be the best part. Yeah.
By the way, Don, quick question. There was a debate on whether Horace Gracie would beat Tank Abbott. UFC 1. Who wins that fight?
Oh, geez. You know, that was the thing. Back then, they handpicked all their opponents, so they were stand-up fighters, But actually, I think Tank could have probably beat him at that time. Tank had some good wrestling skills, obviously, from junior college wrestling. And then he had a hell of a power punch. I mean, if he connected with Hoist once, it'd be all over. Trust me.
It's crazy how many good athletes go to junior college It's like every good athlete that thought they were going to go to D1 had shitty grades, ends up going to junior college. But
Yeah.
now
I was Adam. I was the only guy who had awesome grades and still went to junior college. So figure that one out. I had awesome grades. Could have gone anywhere in the country to school. Had like a 1,200 on my SAT back when you could only get 1,600. But I didn't. I played a small private high school, like Christian high school, so I couldn't get any exposure, even though I'd have been top 20 in the state, as basketball players my senior year. So I went to a junior college with a bunch of guys that had parole officers and probation officers and everybody. Like I was like one of the only white guys on the team. Not that it matters what color they were, but it was an interesting experience. And then I didn't even go on. I had 30 or 40 Division I offers, didn't even go on to Division I. So it was all for nothing. So
well, no, it was not all for nothing. You became a great athlete, made it to the UFC. But you know what's crazy is that
now, you became eventually you became a great athlete. Yes. It just took time. It took time, and the other athletes getting out of the way, and there you are.
What's up, people? Football might be over for the season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. From the latest odds, totals, player performance props, to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline is the #1 spot for all your sports betting needs. Now head over to their website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code CLNS50 to get started. It's not just basketball. BetOnline is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds, right to the Olympic coverage. And it's the best in the business, okay? From sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your #1 online wagering destination. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts. Well, when I was in high school, right, they would have post-grads, which is like a kid that graduated high school, does one more year of high school to get to a better college. And those are always the kids that were like pretty good at wrestling because the school handpicked them because they got them through it, whatever. Now, parents are leaving back the kids as freshmen. And so now a lot of them are going to the college and they're redshirting their first year, which means that they could practice, but it doesn't count as a year. So now they're post-grad and redshirting. So by the time they're freshmen, they're 19 years old or 20 years old.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go against these kids are like 24 or 25. Like, these aren't the college kids anymore.
Yeah.
Grown ass men.
Too many people, man. I saw an article one time somewhere on Facebook. It said, no, your child's not going to be a pro athlete, and here's why. And it talked about the chances of it actually happening, the odds. But I couldn't stand when my son played sports in school, man, watching the parents in Little League and basketball leagues, whatever. They all thought their kid was going to the NBA or NFL one day or whatever. It was it was ridiculous, like how serious they took it. Now they're doing private training 5 days a week, like on different skills.
It's big business. If you're running a camp, for kids, you got 1 or 2 professionals in there. I mean, those things are stocked. You got to get on a waiting list. I mean, it is big business because all of them are like, they need these extra camps so that he could get a D1 scholarship and then he could go pro and all this. So they're absolutely fully, especially when you see so many of them that do make it to that level. And then you see the legends going, I remember when you were at my quarterback camp and he was at, so a lot of them do go through that process. So consequently, it's become a massive industry.
That's
the
why
problem with a lot of it is that some of those kids just aren't any good. Like they don't have the base. They're not a good athlete. So no matter how much you work, there's going to be a ceiling. It's like, honestly, it's like Schaub, not to make a joke. I'm being serious. He's not funny. He's not ever going to be funny. So it's kind of like CM Punk. There's a ceiling on how good you're going to get. You can work out at Duke Rufus's 24 hours a day for 10 years. You're not going to be a good fighter because you don't have what it takes to start with, but that was another chance to shit on Schaub. I really just only did.
You know what? But also, the thing about Schaub though is like when I worked with Piven, when I toured with Piven was an actor. He came in through an actor. He was really easy to coach because I would just give him a note. He would get it in 2 seconds. Literally, I would sit there and I gave him a lot of notes after the shows, and he wasn't even paying attention. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Second show, he hit every single note. I'm like, wow, that's a guy who's trained. Schaub isn't trained, but he could hire writers. So I don't know who he's hiring, but he could hire. You see it all the time. A lot of times, people with big names, the TikTok stars, the YouTube stars, the athletes, they just have an ego about them. I'm not saying this is Schaub, but they don't want to I'm funny enough. I don't need to hire writers. If they would just literally, there's so many writers in LA, comedy writers. If they just would sit down with somebody and go, okay, here's X amount of money. Let's work on my material.
you could punch people up. And that's what I did with Henry Cejudo. I mean, Cejudo, for that, I was like, dude, Cejudo fucking killed at the Comedy Jam. Yeah, because me and him sat down, and I just go, okay, this is where the joke is. This is where the joke, and he fucking boom, boom, boom. I don't know what the disconnect there is. But also, you have to remember a lot of times with these podcasters who become comedians or whatever, they're playing to their fans all the time. So their fans are coming to see them. So they know what to expect. A lot of times,
they know how unfunny he is.
A lot of times they're just happy they're in the room with them. These people, you know, they want the picture at the end. They want this. So they
want that long ass T-shirt with 6 hours of jokes on it.
2 hours. They listen to them 3 hours a week. But on the internet, sometimes people who don't listen to them aren't fans. And they're coming from a whole different place. But anyway, Andre Arlovsky beat Jake Collier. I thought that was this guy, Jake Collier, was a 300-pound guy, went to a wedding. His friend was like, hey, I'll get you in shape. Did jiu-jitsu at like age 22. Now he's fighting Arlovsky. He's down to 185. He's back to like 280. He's a big dude, but he's athletic and he's tough. He's a country boy. He still trains like in Missouri. At one point he told me he was like eating squirrels. Like he would like go out and hunt squirrels and eat them and like whatever else was out there. And he won, but they fucking gave it to Arlovsky. This dude won the fight. I think he won 2 out of 3. It was a robbery. It was a straight fucking robbery. I don't know what these people were fat phobic or what, the judges, but they gave it to Arlovsky, and I thought he got screwed. Greg, what do you think?
Oh, could have gone. I think he could have gone either way. I mean, it wasn't that definitive one way or the other. I don't think Collier was. And when it was a split decision, I was actually curious. I'm like, all right, who are they going to get? And that's it. When you're fighting Arlovsky, a legend in the sport, and you're just this chubby dude named Collier, named Jake. I mean, you're not going to get, it's just like any other sport. The legend's going to get the edge when it's basically even, and you didn't do that much to prove you were that better. So I don't know. I was a little surprised, but not that surprised.
And then Andre Fili got knocked out, which sucks. First of all, he's a friend. He's doing my Comedy Jam 2 weeks.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, now I can focus on the comedy.
Oh my God. He went out there against this dude that was throwing like Mexican haymakers, those fucking like not straight punches. You know how like
is that a punch with a salsa on top of it?
It's a cholo swing.
It was almost like a cholo swing, like a gang punch, and it caught him. It fucking caught him, and caught him clean and knocked him out. And
because Andre was kind of winning. I thought he was easily winning that, right up until then.
I think Andre wins that fight most of the time. I just think that he got caught.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Sucks. And then what other fights happened? Grant Dawson beat Jared Gordon, which sucks because I like both these guys. Gordon's a guy that was like OD'd on heroin a couple times and had all kinds of pill problems and just had a lot of issues, and now he's sober and like just killing it.
Well, this isn't going to help.
No, he told me, I was like, how you doing? He's like, I'm devastated. And I was like, well, quit dyeing your beard. Cause he had like the, like super just from NBA. I'm trying to make him.
Yeah.
He did, but Dawson won. And Dawson's a guy that like, he moved to ATT and he was pretty much undefeated. I'm pretty sure at James Krause's thing. Maybe he has one loss over in Missouri. And he moved because he says he's getting better looks for his like girlfriend / wife. At 105, she's a fighter, and he looked great. So, Frye, did you ever move camps during your career?
Yeah, I never what?
Move camps?
No. I had to sing. Well, no, that's a lie. One time, I went over to San Jose and had Frank Shamrock train me because it was having a real bad. Imagine this is a real bad time in my marriage. Yeah, so I needed to get out of the house.
What was it like having Frank Shamrock train you?
Well, unfortunately for Frank, there's nothing he could do with me because my back was so bad. So, we would go to the gym, sit in the jacuzzi, get a massage, go to the chiropractor, stretch. I mean, that's basically what we did. We couldn't work out, So
sounds like what the last 5 years I fought.
What?
I said that was like my last 5 years that I fought, like literally that. Go to the chiropractor, try to stretch, like we never trained. So
Dude,
Right,
dude,
right.
Greg, McCorkle had a fight, right? I'm like, how are you looking? He's like, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm doing all kinds of running, blah, blah, blah. He loses. I go, what happened? He goes, I lied.
Yeah. Bad news.
McCorkle, I honestly think that you could have been top 5 had you been healthy.
I think if I'd have started a little earlier, man, that's my problem. I didn't take a jiu-jitsu class or anything until I was 28 or 29 years old. Like never wrestled, never anything. So, and then I didn't take it serious till I was 32. Like I fought a couple times, but I mean, I was just going to jiu-jitsu once or twice a week, like just that. So, to not actually start training until you're 32 or 33 is kind of, not really the way to go about it, but I had the balls for it for sure, man. I really did, like, especially when I started out, I was real gung-ho about it and real into it. And, I told you about the fight I fought with my shoulder out of socket for 2 rounds, like 2.5 rounds, because I would not quit. Like, I just didn't have quit in me at that point. But you get a little older, a little wiser, and you start realizing you're going to have that the rest of your life. Like, I tapped in the first time ever in Japan when Satoshi Ishii poked me in the eye. And I could not see, like, I thought he ripped my eyeball out. It was that bad. So I ended up tapping. He got me in an arm bar, because I was like, I'm not going to lose an eye and have my arm broken in half in Japan. Like, I was like, I don't even know if they got insurance over there, so, but 3 years before that, I would have fought till he killed me, so.
Dude, you could have come back with a robot eyeball. That would have been awesome.
Right. Yeah. That's been something else, like Michael Bisping, but.
You would have had robot eye, you would have had a robot arm, robot eyeball. You would have been the $6 million man, brother.
Now, when I saw you in Missouri that time, and you were jacked. I mean, you were wearing an Affliction shirt, super tight. You're fucking huge. And I go, how's it going? You're like, I'm on 10 different kinds of steroids right now.
Right. Yeah. I was in shape.
Were you really on 10 different kinds of steroids?
Maybe not 10. I was at the time I was taking, all right, I'll just be honest. Hopefully my son will never watch this, because I always tell him about the dangers of steroids, despite how awesome they are. No, I was taking, the go-to one for me typically was Anavar, Winstrol, testosterone cypionate, running those 3 at the same time. HGH as like a baseline would be the 4th one. And then occasionally would mix in like Tren is too dangerous. It's a really good, like strong one, but it's really, really dangerous. So we typically would go with the one, it's like called Drastanolol. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Masteron is what it's called. So maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 at the same time, but not in massive doses, just the right amount. Like if I was taking a lot of Anavar, I would take less testosterone, so like I never went crazy with dosages or anything, but I was also eating really, really healthy and working out all the time. So that's a big part of it.
Those are organic, right?
Right. Yeah. Most of it was coming straight from my garden. So
now, did you have a doctor that would tell you what to take, or
well, I had a guy that was as good as a doctor. He was a couple-time state champion as far as Mr. or whatever, and then he placed in
state champion drug dealer. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, he placed in the Mr. Olympia stuff in the past. So, I mean, he knew what he was doing. But as far as when I very first started taking testosterone, that was from a doctor, as was HGH, because if you've got enough money, that's back when I had money. That's when I wasn't even fighting. When I had a bunch of money, you go to a doctor, they check all your blood levels and they can see where you're low on HGH, you're low on test, you're low on this or that. And they will, that's what, I don't want to drop any names, but that's obviously what Lorenzo Fertitta was doing when he was all jacked and massive at 50 years old, like 40.
I'm dropping names, but here's one. Here's one you might recognize. I love it. How do they test you for low testosterone? They just start trying to jerk you off, and they're like, "Look, see, you're not even getting high. You fucking got low T.
Doesn't work. No,
it's
if you've ever seen that doctor, I'm sure you've seen it in the newspaper back in the day, the USA Today. I don't know if you guys ever read newspapers, but they used to have his. I was trying to make an old joke there with Don, and I had nothing. I bailed halfway in on the newspaper thing. Was going to try to do a call back to the cave walls. Anyway. So there was a doctor that was like 80 years old and just ripped, just jacked, and it showed him at 60 when he wasn't. Well, apparently that's real, and he's an anti-aging doctor, and so he basically experimented on himself and came up with a program. So you can get in his program. I checked into it back when I had money. It's about $12,000 a month, but he will optimize all your hormone levels, give you HGH tests, any steroid you want, basically, and they'll put you like in it. So they call it an anti-aging clinic, but they are. I mean, it's kind of stuff Sylvester Stallone, I'm sure, goes to that place or a place like that. All them guys that are 70 and still ripped are doing that. They're giving you.
And believe me, I don't think he stopped advertising. I think he's still all over Instagram and the social media ads. So, because I see them all, there's one called Stark Life and one like, so all these old ripped dudes like, I can show you how to stay like this. It's like, all right.
Yeah. I used to think it was Photoshopped. I really did. Like, I thought it was like fake. And I looked into it and he's a real anti-aging doctor and it's legit. Like he really is built like that. So it's crazy, man. If they put your hormone levels at the same as you were when you were 18, it can do some amazing stuff. So.
How much now when you were on this stuff and you were fighting, how much different was it when you were not on it versus when you were on it?
Test is the big thing because test is like, if I have low testosterone anyway, like legitimately before I ever started fighting, I had really low testosterone. So when you're taking that or not taking that, it's a big difference. The problem with me is I didn't know there was a TRT exemption. I never even heard of anything. So I had to go off of even my testosterone 4 weeks out in order to pass the test. The test they never gave me. I was never once drug tested or any kind of test in the UFC. So I would go off for nothing, but I would feel like shit after 2.5, 3 weeks of being on testosterone. Because it goes to, you can't even get a hard on. Like you can't, Like it kills your test levels. And here you are supposed to fight somebody when you've been starving to make weight. You have no testosterone in your body. Like it's a terrible thing. You're really emotional, but the difference.
Yeah, but if you think about it, that is the last place you want to get a hard on.
Worst time.
In one way, it's working for you.
Don, do you ever get offered any testosterone or HGH or steroids?
Of course, as a pro athlete. Come on, man.
And then
it's like
steroids take Don Frye.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like a pro. It's like a comedian never borrowing a joke, shit.
But you said no, right?
I said no. I said no. I said no.
He said no, not here, here in the ass.
Don's like, I don't know how that will interact with the Vicodin I'm taking, so I don't know if I should.
Yeah, exactly. Might interfere with my buzz.
That's like the entire 70s of professional football. I mean, those guys were going bonkers on steroids. That's what gave Lyle Alzado his the brain cancer. He was like, I took a fuck ton of steroids all the time. And they were saying he jacking himself up before the game, just fucking.
Did you watch that 86? You watch the 86 Mets documentary about the Mets? They had like a bowl.
I can tell you no, and I can tell you why, because of the Mets.
No, the Mets. It was the greatest team ever, but they would literally have like a bowl of I don't know if it was Adderalls or uppers, whatever. They kept it like in the locker room, and people would just grab it, take it. The ball was like this big.
They say amphetamines really do make your focus so sharp, the real strongs like that it actually almost slows the ball down to your perception when they're throwing it. You're so hyper focused. I was never good at baseball or played, so I don't know.
Well, it's like that one guy that threw a perfect game on acid. To him, it was like the whole thing looked too easy, so he was able to control it. I guess I don't know.
So other fights that happened over the weekend. Darren Elkins, man. The guy cannot be in a boring fight, but he's one of those fights. But he's so frustrating because he looked amazing. He won his fight. They should basically have like a blood donation thing next to the octagon because just blood's just spitting out, even when he wins. But then
that's what I was thinking. It's like the worst thing that possibly happened to him. He won. So
why? Because now he's gonna fight again.
Yes.
He loves fighting. And this is what he wants to do. But he's winning. And then Jocko beat Mearshart, which kind of sucks. There's a heavyweight though.
Dude, can we talk about that for 1 second? Because Gerald Mearshart, I mean, I know he rarely looks enthusiastic, but he genuinely looked disinterested in the fight.
That's his face. That's how he fights.
I know that's his face, but like his style, everything about it looked like he really didn't want to be there. I don't know that we see a lot more Mearshart.
He won 3 in a row before that though.
I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know why there would be a change, but he looked genuinely not interested in being.
They asked him, by the way, Sean, they go, who do you want to fight next? He goes, I want to take the Sean O'Malley thing where you give me a bunch of bums and then I just beat them and then I get a ton of money for beating no names. He literally said that.
That's awesome. He probably was serious too. I used to say that being serious. They would ask me who I want to fight next. And I'd be like the worst heavyweight in the UFC, unless that's me. And then I'll take the second worst heavyweight in the UFC if given my option.
Dude, my favorite was when you fought Putinowski. And you're like, this is the battle of who has better steroids.
Yeah, his steroids better than mine. Yeah.
Like he said that. And the guy interviewing him was like, I think he was like brand new, like this like kid. And he looked at him like, how do I respond to this? Like,
yeah, that was that was a shame because that was true. It really was. Like I was so happy when I fought him to fight somebody with worse cardio than me. Like he was turning purple 30 seconds in. I was like, dude, this is how everyone who ever fought me felt. Like knowing I was way more tired than them. That must be an awesome feeling.
So there's this heavyweight guy who's 16-0 from Moldova, who he was the biggest favorite of all time, Sean. He was
I heard that, yeah.
minus 2,000, right? As soon as I was like, oh, but you know, if I had money right now, I bet on Chase Sherman. You never know. The guy hits hard. Sherman could stop him. You know, dude, it was such a beating. There was a reason it was minus 2,000. He just took him down like a child and just beat the shit out of him. Like
that really surprised me because Sherman, his record's not the best, but that dude can fight, man. I actually know him a little bit. He can fight. He hits hard. Like he hasn't done as well in the UFC as I thought he would do, but yeah, he's not a joke, man. That dude he's tough.
The guy from Moldova, because he had a couple fights where I didn't think he looked that great, but he's now getting ripped. He started off like kind of fat a couple fights ago. He almost has like a fat six pack. Have you ever seen one before?
Yeah.
And he's, you know, world champion wrestler. He's going to be tough to beat. This guy, I'm curious to see how he does because his wrestling, there's not that many good wrestlers in the heavyweight division right now.
I heard he beat him pretty handily when they started wrestling. As you know, I hate it when heavyweights wrestle.
Right.
But I mean, it was over so quickly. I was like, well, at least he made good use of it. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, real quick before I forget, I'm not to change subjects, but did you guys see the video out that's of Bruce Buffer telling Khamzat Chimaev to back up?
No.
Before Chimaev fought his last.
Is he behind him at the time?
No, that's a good joke. No, I wish. Damn it, Greg beat me to it. I wish I thought.
So I thought that's where you were going with it. I was literally trying to
no.
beat you to the front. I literally thought that's like you were teasing us. Like, here's the setup. Can you get the punch?
No, I wish. No, he actually Chimaev was going toward Gilbert Burns before the fight started, and there's a video of Buffer comes out and tells him back up, like 20 times, tells him to go back to his cage, like he's in charge. But I actually heard the live audio that no one else caught. I guess that some random microphone caught. And
what did it say?
Yeah, it was weird because Buffer came out and said, "Tell you what, man, you keep walking up here, somebody's going to get their dick sucked." And so that's when Chimaev walked back. He didn't want any part of that. So
have you heard of that guy named? You ever heard of that guy named Booger Beard?
No.
He's this guy who's like this like. He's a really funny guy. He's a guy. I think he was like a comedian, kind of like a rocker, but kind of a chubby guy with a huge beard. And he all he does is threaten to blow fighters. Like he's like, dude, if I find you, I'm gonna suck your cock. Like that's his like shtick. I'm gonna beat you off. And like literally, it kind of went viral. Like he sort of like
does he oddly look like Dominic Cruz in disguise?
No, it's like he's like from like Saskatchewan or something, right? And like what's his name loves him, Stylebender, like gave him a hug,
I bet he does.
Flew him out to the.
I bet he really loves him.
Like sat him in like the front row and like hugged him after. He makes videos threatening to blow guys.
Listen, every guy wants to get a blowjob after a fight. That makes sense to me.
Did you guys see was that women's fight? I heard the women's fight is maybe the greatest fight in the history.
The boxing one? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I literally heard people I respect say it's the best fight they've ever seen in any discipline. Like they said, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that two women put on that kind of a show, but I don't know.
It was the first time that girls boxing ever headlined the Garden.
So it was boxing?
Yeah, it was boxing. And it was the best female boxers in the world fighting each other. Serrano versus Katie Taylor. They were both undefeated, I believe, and it was like Gotti Ward for women. So
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah. Natan Levy won. He's from Israel. Great dude. Afterwards, he was like, he said, it's a Holocaust Remembrance Day, and he dedicated to he's like gonna donate some of the stuff to people that are related to victims of the Holocaust or victims, and it was super, super nice, but it didn't exactly
like his opponent.
Didn't exactly.
I'm going to donate to victims like my opponent, who I beat in remembrance of the Holocaust.
Dude, it was great. But it's hard to like. You guys ever see when like Justin Bieber went to the Anne Frank house, and he wrote like on her wall like she would have been a believer.
Yeah, I'd like to believe that she would have been a believer.
People got really mad at that. Like, like not the time. I think people just don't, it's hard to, for
I can see Anne Frank hiding in the closet with Bruce Buffer. No, hiding in the closet from the Nazis as they come raid her town, thinking, man, if only I had a Justin Bieber CD right now. Like,
yeah, in fact, not many people know this, but that's actually how she got found. She got caught because they gave her a little radio, and she was trying to listen to Justin Bieber.
Right.
And that's how they found her.
I don't know if I wrote this joke or like I heard it or like I dreamt about it, but because I thought of it. I'm like, oh, you ever think of a joke, Greg? You're like, oh, I'm like, did I ever hear that before? But there's like a gift shop in the Anne Frank house. I heard there's a gift shop. Like, what are they?
Someone did. I have heard this joke.
You heard that? Heard that premise? Like,
yeah.
Like okay, oh, good. But like, why would there be a gift? Like, what are you gonna buy? Like, what are they possibly gonna sell at the gift shop?
That reminds me of that joke I thought I made up. I really thought I made this up, speaking of Jews, but I asked somebody one time, if Jesus was Jewish, why do you have a Puerto Rican name? And I thought I made that up. And then I saw someone, like comedian in 1965 said it. Someone said, oh yeah, you stole that, and pulled out some real old comedian thing or whatever. I was like, dude, I really don't think I heard that comedy, whatever it would be.
I hate when comics do that. Or I hate when I tweet something and someone's like, you tweeted that at me. I'm like, I don't even follow you. Like, how would I? Like,
well, and that's the thing about observational comedy, which most comedy is based on an observation, is that if you see it, somebody else sees it too. I mean, that's just the way life is. Parallel thinking. It's, I say we all draw from the same pool of observation. We're all looking around the world for funny little, inconsistencies that we think are funny. Oh, so guess what? That wasn't invented today, which means I'm not the first person to see this.
Right.
I mean, it does happen a lot, especially in comedy, and people who don't know comedy like to think that they're, and the other thing about that is people often like to believe that whoever they hear someone do a joke first, that's the person who wrote it. Right. And then if they see somebody else do it, they're like, you stole it from that person. I'm like, no, they stole it from me. Or you just saw them do it first. Right. So you think that's the original, but you don't know that. Maybe they saw me do it, and that's where they got it.
It's weird that comedians are all looking for something funny, like to put in their act, and Brendan Schaub can't find anything. Like we're all looking through the same world through the same eyes, and that fucker can't see anything.
Yeah, he married it. He was like, there's got to be some humor here.
Right.
So what else? Oh, Bubba Jenkins won his fight.
Yeah, actually, it was a great fight. I loved watching it. Good work on Bubba's part. Also, Francisco Figueiredo, the younger brother. Is he the younger brother of what's his?
I don't know.
Of the champ, or is he the older? I was looking at him and I'm like, I can't really tell if he's an older or younger. I think he's the younger brother of Davison, though. But he looked really good too.
Yeah, there was a heavyweight, a 6'7" heavyweight who won his fight in PFL, who did like a backflip afterwards. It was damn impressive. I wanted to show you, Sean, but then if I post it, we're gonna get the. Did
Figueiredo? Did he do a leg lock? Was he the one that did?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, here comes the. It's like when something becomes popular all of a sudden, everyone starts doing it. Not that they couldn't do it before. It's like the calf kick. People really didn't do a lot of calf kicks, and all of a sudden everybody started doing calf kicks. I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of more leg locks now.
I saw like 10 guys.
I did the calf kick. I invented a calf kick because I couldn't kick above the knee. So,
I invented the calf kick because I'm fucking short.
Don, you said that you actually fought the best guy in like K1 history without ever throwing a kick before in K1.
Yeah. Pretty stupid, huh?
That's one adjective. Some might say amazing. Some might say impressive.
So
I would say dumb.
This week on Friday in Bellator, Ryan Bader is fighting Czech Congo. I say Bader.
Finally. I've been waiting years to see.
I'm pretty sure they had a fight before. I think they fought before. I think Bader won.
I think they fought before too. Yeah.
But then also showing Melvin Manhoef is fighting Yoel
Romero. Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They already started walking to the octagon. I mean, it's like a combined age of like 200. And I mean, Yo Romero's in his like 40s. We don't know how old he is.
Is he really? Yeah, I was going to say how old. I didn't think he was that old though, but I guess
maybe we should check his doctor records of that old man doctor I was telling you about earlier, because I guarantee you he's on a program of some kind at that age, looking like that. So.
And Manhoop, but this is going to be a good fight though. For the minute.
Wait. Is he 46 in metric or in standard? You know, since he's
right,
in Cuba.
exactly.
Good call. That's true.
But Manhoop can punch. I mean, who do you think wins this fight?
God damn! We used to watch him when he's in his prime over there in Pride. You know, I mean, he could kick. Oh my God, he could kick a car. You know, and dent the car. I mean, geez, he was a machine. Man, he was a machine back then. And God damn.
So who do you think wins the fight, Romero or Manhoop?
I hate to pick on that one because my heart's for Manhoop, but you know, the way my guesses go, that would mean Romero's going to win. So
yeah,
he got the Don Frye seal of approval.
Now the fight is in Paris.
As better as Sean in picking, you know. Sure.
Yeah, just tell me who you want to win, and I'll bet on the other guy, and then we'll be set. I'll tell you a funny story real quick about Melvin Manhoef. He's got a coach. I can't remember what his name is. He's probably 5 foot tall and 5 foot wide. Like, he's not very big, like a bigger dude, you know, but not real tall. But when I was over fighting Pujanowski, I was hitting pads, like just getting warmed up, like we were doing a little workout that week or something. And he came up and tried to like correct me on something I was doing, throwing a punch or whatever. And to look at him, you wouldn't think he knew anything about fighting. I didn't know who he was. It was at the hotel, like in a little ballroom or something. And he came up and I was like, okay, thanks, man. And I kind of blew him off after like, you know, a couple minutes of instruction. And then I saw him later on hanging out with Melvin Manhoef, and I looked it up, and he's like one of the best striking coaches in the world who like came up trying to help me out of the goodness of his heart, trying to show me something I was doing wrong. But you get so much of that when you're a fighter, like people trying to come up and tell you, hey man, let me show you what you're doing wrong. Like, you know, like fitness or whatever, like you're hitting the heavy bag and be like, thanks, man. I'm actually a pro fighter. Oh yeah, who you train under? Like, cause it's just some random guy. So I thought this guy looking at him, I was like, dude, what? Like, get the hell out of here, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to
do a little
workout or whatever.
What were you doing wrong?
He was trying to tell me, I think he was trying to tell me like when I was stepping to jab or something, like to not switch levels or something like that. It was something real, like something, a big mistake I was making when I stepped with my jab, and showing me something like that. But I wasn't really listening because I was like, he kind of interrupted me, and I was kind of like, yeah, like he didn't speak great English, and he had a voice like Vito Corleone if he had just drank some moonshine. Like when he was talking, he's like, yeah. Right. You know, like trying to explain. I was like, thanks, man, cool. Oh, appreciate it, thanks. Like wondering if he wants a picture with me, and then I'll have to look up who it is. It's Melvin Manhoef's striking coach, but he's literally, I guess, world renowned, one of the best striking coaches in the world. So I blew him off, like didn't want to hear anything he had to say because I was such an elite striker. You know, I could do that. So
hey, man.
Right.
You know,
hey, listen, just as a matter of bookkeeping here, I'm looking at Bellator's website, and it says Romero's fighting Alex Polisi.
Okay, so according to maybe MMA Junkie is what I'm getting it for. Hopefully he's, I don't know. Now
even Bellator doesn't know who's fighting at their events. Even they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, apparently it is Manhoef, but he doesn't know when it is or where it is. So
it's like WWE where you have like the mystery opponent, you don't know who's going to come out. And then so PFL, which is now Friday. So it was Thursday last week and Wednesday the week before. So not only did they not like tell you, like they switched the days on you. It's one of those things where like you find out the girl's a squirter, like you never know what is going to happen. But I guess you're happy when it does. So Kayla Harrison is taking on Marina Natkina. I don't know much about her, but Kayla Harrison is going for her third $1 million if she wins this, and she's got to be a huge favorite. She's undefeated, you know, 2-time Olympic judo, and the girl's been through everything, man. Like I talk about it, but her judo coach molested a bunch of girls back in the day. A lot of people. He's in jail for life. Kayla's came from like a rough kind of upbringing. She like won the gold twice. Her sister had some issues, so now she has 2 kids. She's taking care of her sister's kids. She's an amazing person, exceptional human being. So good for Kayla. Also,
yeah, and I challenge her for a fight because I feel like a woman. I identify as a woman, and I challenge her to $1 million fight.
Okay, we will tell her that. No problem.
Yeah.
Ray Cooper,
Honestly, that would sell out. I mean, I'd pay to see that.
Ray Cooper III is taking on Magomed Umalatov, who's 11-0. Cooper won $1 million twice already. Anthony Pettis is fighting Miles Price. I don't know about him. Rory McDonald fighting Brett Cooper. So they got a bunch of guys, PFL this week, a bunch of names. So hopefully people will watch it. And then UFC 274 this Saturday. Oliveira versus Gaethje. I think Oliveira wins. Gaethje seems to kind of either psych himself up or he doesn't fight like he does when he fights guys that like are whenever he steps up. It seems like he just doesn't do what he's capable of. And I think Oliveira is gonna win this fight. Who do we, Sean? Who do we think is gonna win this fight?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to bet against Oliveira at this point, with how he's been looking. And you're right on Gaethje. He's usually pretty good, but it does seem like in the big moments he struggles a little bit sometimes, at least from the Khabib fight and a couple other ones. But if I had to bet, I would probably bet Oliveira. So count on Gaethje winning. That would be my.
Well, since Gaethje's an Arizona boy, you know, I'm going to play with Gaethje.
Now the fight's in Phoenix. Are you going to go?
Well, I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to.
Well, the last event you went, you got some kind of some stuff went down.
You know, I might go just for that now. That's a good idea. That reminds me. You know, I haven't been out in the New York Post had me, TMZ had me. Shit, I guess it's time for me to step out again and you know, play the field, let everybody know I'm alive.
All right, but can we not, like, if somebody annoys you, let's maybe not, you know, just take a deep breath, you know, relax.
Wait a second. It's been copied. People have been copying me. Mike Tyson copied me.
Right.
Who was the other guy who just slapped somebody around? You know?
Will Smith.
What?
Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith. Yeah, they both been copying me. So shit. Why not just keep it rolling? See who follows me now.
It's like you're like the TikTok trend where you go around.
Yeah, absolutely.
But by the way, that was a very. I know we had never talked about that punch because of some stuff, but it was a nice punch, Don. I mean, I think you still got it, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, I was sitting there watching a fight, and it was over. So these people were behind me, got up and left, a bunch of them, about 4 or 5, and they kept bumping my hat. So I leaned forward. Next thing I know, my hat falls into my lap. I go, wait a second. That's bullshit. Have I told you this story?
No.
Keep going.
Oh, okay. So I said, that's bullshit. So I stood up with my hat on, walked over to the guy. I said something to him. He said something to me. I said something to him. He said something to me and then walked away. And I said, wait a second. I ain't done yet. You know? And so I followed him. And I said, hey. And he turned around. I took off my hat and I slapped him in the face of my hat a couple of times, and just brushed him, you know, with my hat. And then I put it on. He said something. I said something. He said something. I said something. Then he said, "Well, we go outside." Next thing I know, my left hand just took off on his own. You know, just 2 fingers, just the middle 2 fingers slapped him. You know.
Now.
And so then his buddy grabbed him and the. He stepped in between and grabbed me and ushered me. I said, "Fuck this! I can't go outside. It's too fucking far." Shit.
We're fighting right here.
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, man, from experience, there is nothing in the world funnier or better than the look on someone's face when you smack them when they didn't think to actually do it. Like when they thought, oh yeah, what are you going to do? And you smack them. The realization of that it's real and this dude will kick my ass is all over their face. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the face on the idiot that Tyson slapped around?
Yeah. What a dumbass.
His bottom lip sticking out. He's pouting. And,
I can't believe you didn't let me just say all that shit.
Now, Don.
Tyson's fucking uncivilized.
Now, Don, it was your MAGA hat, right? It was your MAGA hat?
No, I had I had my cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
My cowboy hat on.
Do you think the guy was just trying to fuck with you for some reason?
Yeah. I mean, why else would my hat fall off into my lap, you know?
What an
Come
asshole.
on.
What an asshole.
Well, yeah, well, I don't know if the guy won or the guy lost or what it was. You know, they're all being fucking assholes, and it just everybody's bumping my head. I leaned forward to stop it, and next thing you know, it just knocked off my head. Fuck you, you know, shit.
Man, the UFC is lucky that doesn't happen more often because people do fuck with fighters. Like people think they know you because they see you on TV or something, so they think they come up and say shit to you or fuck with you like that. You know, like it's not. Like you don't know them like that, you know what I mean? But I've seen it happen 100 times.
Yeah, and they also think it's like their shot at the title.
Right.
You know, it's like their shot to prove that they could be a real fighter if they just really dedicated themselves to it, you know, by catching you off guard when you're not in fight mode at all.
What happens to like respect your elders? Like respect of like Don's like, I mean, if I met Don Frye, I didn't know him. I'd be like, hey, Don, you know, nice to meet you. Big fan. That's it. Like, fuck you gonna like Mike Tyson, dude. Thank you for all those amazing fights. Take your seat. Shut up. It's like, what are people doing?
Also respect people's privacy.
Yeah.
You don't know this person. I don't know you. You don't leave me alone. I don't know you. You know, I mean, people should just stay out of it unless it's to come up and be complimentary. And, you know, then if they don't feel like talking, they don't feel like talking. I mean, everybody feels like everyone's supposed to be, you know, ready to engage at all times, and they're just not.
Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza. I'm calling it right now. Carla's going to win. A lot of people are picking Rose. I think Carla's already beaten her, and I think Carla's gonna win again.
Carla, she was the one that slammed her on her head. Is that Carla?
No, that was Jessica Andrade. Carla's the one that won on the Ultimate Fighter finale. Basically, just took her down and just choked her.
I was gonna say, but Carla is a great wrestler, which is the shot that she's got here.
Yeah.
Against Rose is that she's a great wrestler, but I don't think I think Rose has just gotten that much better. And while Carla's game has improved, and I think I love watching. I'm always impressed by Carla. I don't think she wins this one.
Sean?
Hey, I'd go Rose.
I like
man.
Carla too.
All right.
I like Carla. You know, she's a hell of a fighter, and I respect her. But I gotta school me on Rose. You know, if Rose would grow her hair back, man, I'd run away with her. You know, throw her over my shoulder and drag her back to my cave.
I think she's married now.
Yeah, shit. I knew it.
Sorry, buddy. The window was open.
Which, by the way, so Sean Strickland recently tweeted, "Women are easy targets for male coaches. Automatically assume weird father role, which turns into a hero worship complex. The fact you started to train with him at 12, 100% grooming, sexual predator. Tell me about my facts wrong, and I'll apologize now." He put that about Aspen Ladd, who I guess trains with his groomer. I mean, trains with her. She's dating her.
Boy.
She's dating her trainer, Jim West. I guess
trains with her groomer. Trains with her groomer.
I feel like it wasn't that far off when at the end of this story. I think that you may be more right than wrong.
I didn't mean to into the group. Like her trainer, I guess it was like really hard on her one day during a fight, and now people are saying Pat Barry be hoping Sean does not out him. And someone said, "What's the story on that?" And then I guess people say she was 14 or 15 when they met. And then there's a big age difference, but I think some people will say she was 18 when they met. Some people say that she was 14 when he fell in love with her. I don't know the whole story. I don't want to speak.
Well, I got to tell you, no matter which version you land on, doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound wildly appropriate, whether she was 14 or 18. It doesn't sound, this ain't a good look.
No, but one's obviously 18 is legal.
Sure, but it's still, you know, I mean, she's still a young woman. Of
course.
You know?
Do you have any comments, Sean, about this?
I can't get over trains with her groomer. That was amazing.
Yeah. You really nailed it right out of the gate there, Adam.
Right.
That was quite a moment. Real moment for this podcast.
No, I don't know. I don't know why Rose shaves her head. I don't know if is there a story behind that or something? Like it's a little like I know she didn't.
Yeah, she said that she didn't want to be known as the pretty girl fighter. You know, the beautiful, and she's gorgeous with long hair, fucking gorgeous. So she cut her hair just so that she'd be taken seriously, you know? And, okay, fine. You're the world champion. You can fight. Now grow your fucking back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I think
guess
you just made her point there, Don.
I don't know why any girl would ever want a fighter would want to be pretty, because that's certainly never helped anyone else in their career ever in any field being good looking. You know, like yeah, that doesn't. I would take I used how good looking I was to my advantage all the time, man. You know, so.
Now, but you hung out with Pat Barry before, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm still holding a grudge. He never called. He got poked in his eye in a fight. And I saw him in an interview, had the exact same symptoms as I did when I fought Ishii, like I was talking about earlier. I have still to this day, if I look up, I get double vision. And I didn't have insurance at the time. And he said that a doctor, like in this interview, he said, "Oh, this doctor fixed it for me, blah, blah, blah." So I texted him. I said, "Hey, Pat, what did they diagnose you with your eye? I've got the exact same symptoms. I got poked in the eye, and I don't have insurance. Like I can't afford to go to a doctor, like a real one, you know, and or a good one." And he's like, "Hey, I'll hit you back, man." Nothing. So 6 months later, "Hey, man, I still can't see on my left eye. It's like double vision. Like, is there any way you can tell me what? Still nothing." So I see him in person a couple months after that at the UFC and stopped him. He was like, "Pat, remember I've been trying to get a hold of you for a year about your eye? I still have problems, man. What did they say?" He's like, "Dude, I got to run. I'll call you back in 5 minutes, or I'll call you up in 5 minutes." Never did. So I'm holding a grudge. I'm holding a grudge against Joe Rogan too, because I was checking about stem cells in South America before I knew that where Don went and all that. And I texted him and told him, "Man, I'm having a real hard, not give my life story, but dude, I'm really struggling. Do you know how much his mom went to this certain doctor down there to get stem cells? Said it changed her life. She can walk 5 miles a day now. She could barely walk before. She was going to be wheelchair bound." And so he answered 7 questions I didn't ask, in the text back. It was just a bunch of stuff that didn't have anything to do with what I asked. And I was like, "Okay, cool, man. So, hey, do you know what doctor she went to and how much it cost?" Nothing back. So I wait 2 weeks. "Hey, man, I really hate to bother you. I know you're busy, but did you tell me what doctor your mom went to? Because I'm really struggling with my back here with it." Nothing back. So I was just okay, cool. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll get in a group chat with him and Pat Barry and get some kind of.
I asked Pat what doctor he took Rose to. He said Dr. Seuss. So,
right.
Anyway,
what happens when you train with your groomer?
I just want to know how long ago you loaded that one out.
I was waiting for Sean to end the story. So
yeah.
I'm waiting for. All right, now Michael Chandler is taking on Tony Ferguson.
Now this is the fight of the card right here, baby. You're paying your money for this fight right here.
Wait, that's this weekend?
Yeah.
But I kind of feel
I haven't heard of any of this. If I've been out of the loop, I haven't heard of any of these fights. I didn't know they were happening.
Yeah, no,
because they have them every single week. You kind of just stop fucking. It's wake me up when we're at the good ones. Well, this is the good one. It's this Saturday.
Michael Chandler is a great guy. I think he adopted another kid from I don't know where the kid's from. A little black kid. First one was black. I said
doesn't matter what color it is.
It doesn't matter what color it is. But Michael Chandler is just a good human being. And he's Tony Ferguson's just looked terrible his last couple fights. I think this lines up really good for Chandler, because even though he's coming off a loss, I think he's in a position to come off a loss with a win, whereas I think Ferguson is just on the downside of his career. 5 years ago, I would have said Tony Ferguson wins this hands down. Yeah. But right now, I think Chandler fucking runs through him.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
And at a certain point, someone's got to tell Tony, "Hey, man, you were the best fighter in the world, one of them, but you hit a wall, and this is not good."
Well, he also took so much damage in his fights. You know, his fights were wars. What were you saying?
Isn't it a shame we never got to see him and Khabib? That is there's certain things, man. We never got to see Fedor versus Brock Lesnar. There's fights that to this day still burn me up. That fight should have happened, man. I know they tried to do it several times, but they should have figured a way out to make that happen, because then both their teeth would have been amazing. He wore
sunglasses inside and tripped the day before over a wire.
Right. Yeah.
That was it.
I would like an explanation one day. I always hear Dana say that he has to offer guys 3 fights a year. And then I was looking at some of these guys that are John Jones has fought something 6 times in the last 7 years total. Nate Diaz, I think, has only fought 5 times in 6 years or something like that. There's no way they're offering them that many and they're turning them down. I would like to see them more. I think, man, guys should fight at least twice a year. Really, I think they should fight 4 or 5 times, but at least twice a year.
I think with those guys, he does offer them fights, and I think they do turn it down. I think they look at the amount of work, the things they would have to stop doing to do it, etc. And I think it's just not interesting to them. I
think Jones also has been suspended left and right. So he probably can't get offered fights because he's been suspended. But Don, who wins this fight, Ferguson or Chandler?
Oh man, don't ask me. I like them both.
Got it.
I take the pussy.
Also, Shogun is fighting OSP in this card. A random fight.
But also a good fight. I mean, this has the potential to be another really good fight. I mean, yeah, they're both old, but I mean, it has the potential to be a really good fight.
Yes, it does. If OSP lets his hands go. Somebody and Donald Cerrone is fighting Joe Lozon on this card. Like this has this. Like,
did they combine a Bellator card with a UFC card or something? Is that finally? Did they finally co-promote? Because those last two sound like the main event, co-main event of the Bellator.
Yeah, it really does, right? I think Lozon wins this. I like Cerrone, but he hasn't looked the same either as last couple of fights. And Lozon still looks good. But you never know. Cerrone's one of those guys that like all of a sudden just puts on a fucking great performance when you're not expecting it. On the undercard, Randy Brown taking on Chaos Williams. That's gonna be a great fight. Macy Chasen, who didn't she just fight? Is fighting on Norma Dumont. Matt Schnell versus Brandon Royval. That's a great fight. Tracy Cortez, who's like the hottest woman ever to fight in the UFC, is fighting Melissa Gatto.
You should shave her head.
Boy, I tell you what, though, for being such a draw, she's on the early prelims.
Yeah, early. Lupe Godinez, who fought like 2 times in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
Lupe,
I like
right?
her a lot.
Is it Lupe or Lupe?
Is it Lupe? Normally not Lupe.
Okay, it's
Lupe's
spelled
what Don was
just so
when he
you
walked
know.
into
I know
the
Lupe, because I am Mexican. Lupe is Lupe, and this is Loopy. This is Loopy. This legit says Loopy.
That's awesome.
And then the Ultimate Fighter starts tonight, by the way. Also, Juliana Pena is the coach, as well as Amanda Nunez. So, dude, I watched like they had a preview of it. I'm on the cruise ship, so they had like 4 stations. So they had this girl who I know who's like super hot, Caitlin Neal. She's like gorgeous, right? And she's one of the contestants this year, and she's crying because her father passed away while she's on the show, like a week before. But she's like, I didn't really know my dad. He wasn't a great guy. You know, he had a drug problem, and you know.
Then yay!
No, but like just basically like she's going all the right. So then they cut back to the girl in the studio, like the announcer. She's like, "Well, just know he's very proud of you." I'm like that was like, which was nice, but like
that's such the what's the standard thing to say right here? He's very proud of you. He's up there looking down on you right now, going, "Who the hell's that?"
Yeah, he's obviously more proud of her than she is of him, apparently. So.
Yeah, it was like one of those things where like, am I missing something? Like what? That like the disconnect. It's kind of reminding me a little bit like when my stepmom died. My mom died. I posted a picture of me and her at our wedding, and I wrote, R.I.P. and this long thing, and everyone's like, sorry if you lost. And then my old like headmaster at my school, who's like old, he took a picture and just wrote, "Congratulations," because he thought like I got married to her or something, or this was my wedding. Like, he didn't read the comment, and people were like, "You sick fuck? What's wrong with you?"
Congratulations.
Yeah. So.
Like, what this guy do? Marry his groomer?
So Colby Covington is now suing or pressing charges against Masvidal because he says he lost his tooth. His tooth is knocked out, but I don't think it was a real tooth. But he also says he's got brain injury from the beating. So
Was he a Democrat now?
He's a Democrat. Yeah, he's a Democrat now. So
Fuck him up beyond.
he says he's sustaining a brain injury, and also that Masvidal broke his Rolex as well. He was wearing a Rolex, and I guess Masvidal's lawyers are saying it was a fake Rolex. They're going back, and and now he has a restraining order against
He
him.
had a fake tooth, a fake Rolex. Like, you got a fake brain injury. Like, what's going on, man?
It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, you know what, though? I mean, regardless of what you think, I mean, one's a sanctioned fight, one is an assault. I mean, that's just the way it goes. I mean,
100%. That Masvidal's in the wrong.
I mean, sorry, you can't do that. No matter how much you say, whatever you say, you knew I was going to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make it legal. Doesn't make it right. You had your chance and you got fucking killed. Now you want to fucking take it up. Nah.
And I heard he was with like 3 guys too. It was like 3 guys
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. Just, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, for the UFC, I think Colby's more valuable than Masvidal is, right? I mean,
You know, I thought the same thing about Chris Rock and Will Smith. I'm like, dude, Will Smith needs to go like everybody else, stand in front of a judge and do his fucking 300 hours of community service. You know?
I thought you were going to say do his hours of comedy. I was like, where's Greg going with this? Like it's 300 hours of comedy.
it's actually the community service is watching Schaub's comedy special.
Exactly. 300 times.
Yeah. No, it's 600 times, a half an hour.
Oh, so you did watch it?
No, I know from the. I'm not gonna watch.
I know he
it.
calls it his hour, and it's 25 minutes long. Like that's a weird.
Oh
thing
my
to say.
God, he put out a 25-minute special.
25-minute hour. Yeah,
Jeez.
it was, dude. I'm not kidding. You got to check it out. It is. I almost like.
It's special.
I have to. I gotta plug this. I find you have something to plug. I've been having hundreds of people beg me to do a reaction video to the special. So I've only watched about half of it. So about 12 and a half minutes.
Please do it. Please, you are the man to do it.
Yeah, they want me to do. They want me to do a live reaction special. So my goal is a week from today. I'll probably be like Schaub. He claimed that Netflix and you name it, the company bid on his special. Like they were sending offers through the roof. But he decided, you know what? I'm going to bet on myself here and release it on YouTube. And he released it on YouTube. He said because of cancel culture. Like I don't know what any of that means or what the reasoning behind it is, or how betting on yourself by releasing on YouTube, like why that makes sense. But yeah, I have Netflix. I have all these different companies begging me, making offers on it. But I'm going to bet on myself and release it on my my little. I don't even have a YouTube page. I'm just going to release it like just to YouTube from someone else's account. So
it'd be funny if like your reaction thing gets like picked up by HBO and Netflix.
Dude, I don't know. I've got a couple of good things planned. I don't want to spoil to the 7 people that would be interested. But
but I don't know, man. But by the way, Don. So listen right now. Listen, this is us talking. Not a sound, right? Hold on.
What? Oh, yeah. Hey. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but what was the dog doing before?
Nothing. I'm in the truck now. I gotta go down to my physical rehab appointment.
Good. Oh, so. Why? Because you're like going to the fights. Don't punch anyone on Saturday, Don. Don't punch anyone. Okay.
Unless they deserve it.
Exactly. Unless they got to come.
I don't want you to get sued. I don't want you to get sued.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get sued.
Yeah, I got nothing to take.
They'll have to sue all his ex-wives.
That's not a bad position to be in. I've been there.
That's hilarious. Well, listen, you guys have been amazing. I'm plugging May 19th. If you're in Vegas, come to the UFC Comedy Festival 2 with me and Frankie Edgar, Andre Feely, Sarah McMahon, and Gerald Harris. That's at the Strat at the LA Comedy Club. What do you have coming up, Greg?
I'm actually going to do my first big spot at the Ha Ha Comedy Club this Saturday. I'll be there at 8:00. So coming out, the big comeback set. And then my first road gig is going to be at the end of the month over Memorial Day weekend down there at the South Point doing the Dirty at 12:30.
Nice. And then Sean, anything coming up?
Yeah, I just told you about my Schaub reaction video. That's my big announcement.
Do it, man. I want to see it. I hope you do it. It'll be the best thing for you. It'll be the best thing for this podcast.
Yeah. Normally I would say no, but I'm like, I actually want to see this.
I want to see it. So it's honestly the only way I would watch Schaub's special. So, please do it. It'll be fun.
And then Don, what do you got?
Well, I got my podcast and, Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. And then we do a Q&A thing, which is double D's in your face. And
Bruce Buffer's a special guest on that one.
I guess
Bruce Buffer has all kind of D's in his face
this weekend.
All right. Well, you guys are amazing.
By the way, Don's podcast won the most appropriately titled award at this year's Webbies. So congratulations.
Yeah, aren't they? And they were so excited about it.
Congratulations to everyone. I love you guys. Take care. Have a good week.
Hey, man.